What's going on, guys? It's Jesus here again to bring you another League of Legends video. Today I'm going to talk about a strategy that I used to get my first #1 placement, victory, but like #1, right? Because you can win when you're top 3, but the first #1 placement that I got in Teamfight Tactics, and that's by using the Noble strategy, right? So the Noble strategy for me it just kind of seemed like common sense because you get 3 of these champions, really 4, really easily. The Vayne, the Fiora, and the Garen come quite often, or at least so it seemed to me when I was playing, and that will go ahead and give you a noble synergy which grants 100 armor and 30 and heal 35 on hit for the nobles, right? But if you have 3 of the noble champions on the board, then it only applies to 1 random ally. But if you get all 6 nobles, then it applies to all the allies. And that's how I was able to pull off this win. So in this game, which unfortunately I did not film, I was basically focusing on trying to just get all 6 nobles, and then whatever else happened after that just kind of happened. It was pretty tough, mainly because Kale was really hard to find. But one of the benefits of this is, like I already mentioned, it gives you the ability to go ahead and get some kind of synergy going right off the bat, right? And then you can kind of use some sort of like garage sale type of thing to make other synergies work until you can complete the 6 full bonus, right? But my main goal here is to get Vayne, Fiora, Garen. Okay, boom. You got the synergy for the nobles going on, and that'll apply to 1 ally. And then you can so Vayne's a ranger, Fiora is a blade master, Garen is a knight, classes, in terms of Teamfight Tactics. And so you can kind of build around that. The ranger and the knight are the easiest because they only require 2 champions in order to access that synergy. The blade master requires 3. So something else that you'll easily find is a Darius, which Darius is a pretty solid champion in Teamfight Tactics. He's a knight, so that would also give you a synergy there with Garen. And so you got, basically in Teamfight Tactics, you get 1 to 4 really quickly, and then you can get to 5 relatively quickly as well. 6 takes a little bit of work, but getting to 7 is really where it's like, okay, if you hadn't saved any gold throughout that part of the match, getting to 7 can be somewhat of a challenge, right? So with that said, having this goal in Teamfight Tactics to get all 6 nobles, if you're stuck at level 6 and have all 6 nobles, boom, you got that really strong passive that applies to all of your team and really helps drive through the win. And I think that's what really helped me get that win when I did get it, was through this passive. So like I said, looking for a Darius, which is something easy to come by. You can throw Darius in there if you're at level 4 and you've already got these other 3. You can get that knight passive. The ranger, if you wanted to go for that, you could get something like an Ashe, which is not so common. You can get a Varus, which is relatively common. So you could get those going. The blade master can kind of get a little difficult because you just don't have. It feels like they come fewer and further between. Let's see if we can find the blade masters on here. Blade masters. Yeah, so the Shin is relatively easy to come by, and then maybe Aatrox or Gangplank being the other more common ones. But when you're, again, maybe you get to 5 and you're able to work the blade worker or the blade master passive, which, by the way, is a 35% chance to strike additional times on each attack. So that's just something to work with. I will say something else you could do if you were kind of building this up is go with the Lucian. The Lucian has the blade. I'm sorry, the gunslinger, And the Gunslinger also, I think, only requires 2. I might be lying. It might be 3. But even then, you got like Tristana, Graves, both of which are easy to come by in the early game to shore up that passive. And then, you'll come across a Leona relatively, in the mid to late game, you'll come across it relatively often. And Kale's really the biggest one you're going to try and fight for, which is obviously easily found a lot of the times in the shared draft, where it's like the carousel going around, and you have to take turns to pick, which champions you want. But it will come up every now and then in your own personal draft. So it's not the easiest, it's not the most guaranteed, right? But it does have its steps. So getting to that 3 is cool, but really getting to that 6 is where you shine. And once you get to that 6, even if you get to level 7, just throw like a brand or some AoE damage in there somewhere, and you'll probably be just fine. Obviously, you could work off the other synergies that these guys have. The negative being that none of these guys in themselves have their own synergies, right? Like, none of these are the same class, so you would have to work with other races in order to get those class bonuses. But yeah, it's a pretty cool strategy. It's simple. It's good for the early game and could potentially be really strong in the late game if you can secure up all 6. So it's something to keep in mind when Teamfight Tactics drops on the live server, which I believe is going to be Tuesday the 25th, which will probably be when you see this video. But I've seen a lot of reports that are talking about Wednesday, but I think the patch has been coming on Tuesday for me recently. So I'm expecting tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow's the real deal. Either way, hopefully you guys liked the video, and if you did, give me the thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because I'm going to bring you the top quality League of Legends content on a daily basis. I'm Jesus, and I'll see you guys next time.